Hello students, let us begin with the next part of the chapter, and here we are going to understand about development of science. Now it is said that the European natural scientists of the 17th century laid down the foundation of modern science. The scientists of the 17th century put emphasis, that is put importance to the following things, that is to prove the scientific principles established by empirical experiments. Now dear students, what is empirical? Empirical means laboratory experiments. So the empirical experiments or the laboratory experiments were true despite of time and space. मतलब irrespective of time and irrespective of space. Whatever time, whatever space you have, you can do that experiment repeatedly. To convert the emergent scientific rules, इट मीन्स के अभी तक जो रूल्स बनाया था उसको अभी साइंटिफिक फॉर्मूले बनाने हैं. दैट इज वाई टू क्रिएट अ न्यू साइंटिफिक पार्लांस, दैट इज creating a new scientific method and so on. These efforts helped to progress the scientific method, or there was development of science because of this. Moving forward with the next part, understanding institution. Now institutions which were devoted, they were devoted to science. So let us begin with the next part. That is, in Europe there were some organizations which were established for research in science. These organizations published scientific journals. Now there were magazines which were based on science, which included research articles written by certain scientists. So there were many scientists who used to publish their articles. पता नहीं कौन सा तीर लग जाए. That is why to for one particular purpose कि भाई हम लोगों को science को importance देना है. That is why there were correspondence made between them, as also clearing the doubts and exchanging thoughts among them. There were many schools which were made and magazines banaya, and there were school of science which were made. Like among them were Academy of Lynx-Eyed or Lincoln Academy, uska naam change hua, in Rome, which is in Italy. Academy for Experiment in Florence, again in Italy. Royal Society for Improving Natural Knowledge, which is in London. And French Academy of Science, which is in France, were of prime importance. So science को importance देना था. So now there came across many inventions with respect to science. तो बहुत सारे ऐसे scientists थे who are giving their own thoughts, who are giving their own formulas. Let us understand which all things were included, that is included in scientific inventions in various fields. Now there were various instruments which came across, like compass, telescope, thermometer, barometer. These were invented in this period, and microscopes were invented in this period, which made it easy to observe various types of microorganisms. Robert Boyle was an alchemist who is known for discovering absolute pressure and volume of gas, which was inversely proportional. Now Robert Boyle, when he said this thing, he was an alchemist. Alchemist is a person who studies about the medieval chemistry. And जब भी उसने ये चीज़ बोला, that is about chemistry, about the pressure, about the volume of the gas, there were research which were made on different kinds of gases like hydrogen, nitrogen and oxygen. So the research in physics was later on continued, was more focused on various aspects like heat and sound. In zoology there was a number of things which came across, and there were various methodology which came across, which was known as taxonomy. Now this was to develop, to classify one particular thing, that is kya? That is one important aspect, that is classify the animals. So taxonomy was used in zoology. The research by Benjamin Franklin was very important as it threw light on various aspects of lightning and electricity. Now remember students, Benjamin Franklin ने जो तभी बोला था, आज तक, which is still even today used in electrical science. Coming to the next part, understanding textile industry. Now textile industry, when we talk about textile industry, to be precise, सबसे पहले we studied about scientific inventions. So when we started understanding about scientific inventions, it means that invention हुआ science में मतलब industrialization आया, and industrialization के आने की वजह से there was one particular mindset कि भाई industrialization आया तो हम लोग जो man-made work कर रहे हैं वो अभी कम हो जाएगा, and machines will be working for that. And that is why there were many such factories, there were many such industries which were made. One such industry was textile industry. Now weaving of woolen cloth was also a very old cottage industry in England. In the year 1738, John Kay made a patented flying shuttle. ना उसको पेटेंट कर दिया. पेटेंटेड मतलब उसको एक पर्टिकुलर ट्रेडमार्क दे दिया कि भाई ये मेरा है, ये मेरा इन्वेंशन है. इट इंक्रीज, बेसिकली ये फ्लाइंग शटल ने क्या किया कि वीविंग जो हम लोग करते थे, मतलब जो मैनमेड था, नाउ मशीन मेड होना चाहिए. मशीन मेड मतलब स्लो होएगा कि फास्ट? ऑफकोर्स फास्ट होएगा. इट इंक्रीज द स्पीड ऑफ वीविंग. द नेक्स्ट एडवांस स्टेज वॉज स्पिनिंग जेनी, मतलब फ्लाइंग शटल का नेक्स्ट स्टेज वॉज स्पिनिंग जेनी. नाउ दिस स्पिनिंग जेनी वॉज यूज्ड, मतलब जो फ्रेमिंग होता था ऑफ दैट पर्टिकुलर वीविंग क्लॉथ, उसका स्पिनिंग जो सर्कल था या उसका जो स्पीड था वो बढ़ा दिया. So it was going on at multiple spindles. This was made by James Hargreaves in England. One could work 8 spindles simultaneously on a frame and it reduced the amount of labor and time of production. So 8 spindles, बच्चा just imagine कितना, मतलब जो एक आदमी काम कर रहा था वो 8 जन का काम एक साथ हो रहा था. Later on in the year 1769, Richard Arkwright made a more advanced spinning frame which mechanized the process of spinning. मतलब बेसिकली उसने एक पर्टिकुलर वे बना दिया कि भाई हम लोगों को इसके वे में ही बनाना है और इसी तरह से जिस तरह से स्पीड बढ़ेगा एंड ह्यूमन का जो मतलब बेसिकली उसका जो इंटरवेंशन है वो कम हो जाना चाहिए. क्यों? बिकॉज अभी मशीन आ गया है तो मशीन मेड वर्क विल बी मोर फास्टर. ऑफ कोर्स इट कुड प्रोड्यूस मोर yarns much faster with better twisting and strength. Later on there was one more personality जिसका नाम था Samuel Crompton. He invented a more modified spinning machine in the year 1779 CE. This was named as spinning mule. Now with this machine the speed of producing cloth increased 200 times. बचा वो तो 8 times था, ये तो 200 times था. एंड 200 टाइम्स जो भी हुआ 1779 में, दैट वाज द पर्सन, क्या नाम था उसका? सैम्यूल क्रॉम्पटन. उसने जब ये स्पिनिंग म्यूल बनाया था, लेटर ऑन इन 1785 दिस मशीन वाज ऑलरेडी नाउ इनटू द मेकिंग ऑफ अ वेरी ह्यूज इंडस्ट्री. नाउ 1785 में अनदर पर्सन केम, उसका नाम था एडमंड कार्टराइट. ही इन्वेंटेड पावर लूम एंड जैसे पावर लूम बना तो नाउ द मशीन वर्क्स वेरी फास्ट and works for approximately, I would say, 10 people together. So in the year 1793 a machine called cotton gin was introduced. This machine was useful in removing cotton seeds from cotton fibers with a very great speed. So it became easy for everyone कि भाई हम लोग एक साथ ये सब काम एक साथ कर सकते हैं एंड एक साथ 10 जन का काम एक मशीन करने लगा. So is it became easy for everyone? Yes, of course. कि भाई एक पर्सन जो काम कर रहा था वो एक पर्सन नहीं बट 10 पर्सन का काम एक मशीन कर रहा है. Of course it became easy. Continue with the next part, understanding metallurgy. Now England had a number of iron mines, but it was necessary to advance the technique of smelting iron in order to acquire purified iron from it. So basically smelting करना था. What is the difference between melting and smelting? Melting मतलब when you are melting something, मतलब कोई हार्ड ऑब्जेक्ट को तुम पिघला रहे हो into a liquid form, that is melting. And what is smelting? Smelting का मतलब होता है when you are melting the same thing but वो आयन जो उसका ओर रहता है, ओर से मतलब उसका अनप्यूरिफाइड फॉर्म से उसको प्यूरिफाई करते हो, that is called as smelting. So basically जब इस smelting का बात कर रहे हैं, smelting iron in order to acquire purified iron from it was required. Gradually the fuel from iron furnaces was replaced from wood to coal. तो पहले wood यूज़ करते थे, बाद में पता चला कि हम लोगों के पास सब्सटीट्यूट है तो कोल यूज़ करना स्टार्ट किया. It facilitated for the creation of furnaces that could attain much higher temperature, resulting into increased production of iron. So there was increased production of iron. आयन बनना चालू हुआ तो देयर वर स्पेशल मशीन्स विच वर मेड कि भाई वो फर्नेसेस जिससे हम लोग टेम्परेचर कंट्रोल कर सके. सो सेट टेम्परेचर वॉज देयर टू मेंटेन दैट एंड लेटर ऑन वो टेम्परेचर सेट करने के बाद एक बार आयन प्यूरिफाई होके बाहर आया तो उसका एरेशन प्रोसेस, मतलब उसको एयर के साथ रखना, मतलब जो नॉर्मल एयर में रखना एंड उसको जब भी वो ठंडा हो जाता है तो कैसे वो मोल्ड के हिसाब से शेप ले लेता है, दैट कंटिन्यूड. But later on in the year 1865 the process of producing steel from molten iron was invented and later on the nature of iron industry underwent a major transformation. At about the similar time, ऐसे ही टाइम पे a method was developed to pour the molten metal into cast for making iron bars. So basically iron bars बनाना चालू किया वो रेलवे लाइंस के लिए एंड रेलवे लाइन बनाना चालू किया तो इट बिकेम ईजी फॉर एवरीवन कि भाई हम लोग अभी प्रोडक्शन चालू कर सकते हैं. जैसे वो रेलवेज का चालू हुआ, मतलब कहने से ट्रांसपोर्टेशन चालू हुआ, एंड ट्रांसपोर्टेशन चालू हुआ, दैट इज वाई मशीन्स सब जगह पे इंडस्ट्रियलाइजेशन बढ़ने लगा. कंटिन्यू विद द नेक्स्ट पार्ट, अंडरस्टैंडिंग मशीन्स, द यूज ऑफ मशीन्स. नाउ वंस अ मशीन प्रूव्ड इट्स इफेक्टिवनेस, जैसे वो इफेक्टिवनेस बढ़ने लगा, पीपल ट्राई टू यूज और ट्राई टू यूजफुल टेस्ट इट्स यूजफुलनेस फॉर अदर इंडस्ट्रीज टू. These attempts resulted into various inventions of newer machines. In the year 1783, Thomas Bell made a machine for cylinder or roller printing. मतलब basically वो printing के लिए उसने बनाया था, printing चालू हुआ, and later on, this was in 1783, Thomas Bell. In 1809, a machine came in use for sticking together the heels and the soles of shoe. मतलब heels और shoe को उसने basically match करने के लिए machine बनाया. एंड जब ये मशीन बना, दिस वॉज मेड फॉर, ऑफकोर्स वो पहले प्रिंटिंग के लिए था, अभी ये शू मेकिंग के लिए. नेक्स्ट बना, दैट वॉज फॉर टेलरिंग मशीन. टेलरिंग मशीन बना लेटर ऑन. जेम्स वॉट इन्वेंटेड स्टीम इंजन बाय दिस टाइम. इन द बिगिनिंग दिस इंजन वॉज ओनली यूज फॉर ट्रांसपोर्टिंग कोल एंड आयरन ओर आउट ऑफ द माइंस, मतलब माइन से लेके बाहर लेके ट्रांसपोर्ट करने के लिए. बट लेटर ऑन स्टीम पावर्ड मशीनरी केम टू बी यूज्ड इन टेक्सटाइल इंडस्ट्री ऑल्सो. अभी जैसे स्टीम एनर्जी यूज़ किया और स्टीम पावर यूज़ करना उन लोगों ने चालू किया, देर वर मैनी यूजेज ऑफ दिस स्टीम पावर फॉर मेकिंग डिफरेंट काइंड्स ऑफ मशीनरी. इन कोर्स ऑफ टाइम स्टीम पावर्ड प्लव्स, हार्वेस्टर्स, grass cutting machines were also made. These machines could complete agricultural operations in a very short period of time and easily for the people. In America, Robert Fulton, an engineer, successfully sailed the steamboat. तो steamboat भी बनना चालू हो गया, मतलब not only for machines but also for steamboat. सब जगह से importance बढ़ने लगा. So the first attempt of using steam engine for road transport was done by George Stephenson. And जैसे ये attempt successful हुआ, a steam engine for railway engine was also made. So steam engine for railway engine was made. This railway engine could successfully cut the distance between Liverpool to Manchester. Later railway services were expanded. अच्छा, Liverpool to Manchester मतलब वो इंग्लैंड में ही चालू हुआ. Later on the railway services expanded through Europe. Now it shortened the time period to travel within Europe. So now there was a time when people started exploring new things. People wanted, or people मतलब basically businessmen wanted new raw materials, and raw materials चाहिए था. तो उन लोगों ने सोचा यार किधर मिलेगा, बिकॉज यूरोपियन कॉन्टिनेंट में रॉ मटेरियल्स इजीली अवेलेबल नहीं रहेगा. सो उन लोगों ने देखा कि भाई तुम लोग जाओ, तुम लोग एक्सप्लोर करो. एंड दिस वॉज अ टाइम जब भी एक्सप्लोरेशन में उन लोगों ने बहुत सारे सेलर्स को भेजा था कि भाई तुम लोग एक्सप्लोर करो अफ्रीका का, अफ्रीकन कॉन्टिनेंट का इंटरनल पार्ट्स, तुम लोग अफ्रीकन फॉरेस्ट में जाओ, तुम लोग एशियन कॉन्टिनेंट्स एक्सकैवेट करो, तुम लोग बेसिकली एक्सप्लोर करो. तो तुम लोग जैसे वो सब एक्सप्लोर करोगे तो वी विल कम टू नो कि हम लोग कैसे ट्रेड करें, कैसे रॉ मटेरियल्स लाए अलग अलग जगह से. एंड दैट वाज वेयर ज्योग्राफिकल एक्सप्लोरेशन स्टार्टेड बाय डिफरेंट सेलर्स. All right, students, so let us continue with the next part, understanding geographical discoveries and explorers. Now we'll start with the first explorer, that is Marco Polo. Now Marco Polo was an Italian traveler. Marco Polo, he introduced China and other Asian countries to the European rulers. He stayed in China in the royal court of Kublai Khan, and there he studied two languages, that is Mongolian and Chinese. Next traveler जिसके बारे में हम लोग बात करने वाले is Ibn Battuta. Now Ibn Battuta was a scholar and a famous medieval traveler. Ibn Battuta visited India, Maldives, Sumatra, China, Spain, Sardinia, East and West Africa for excavation and exploration for various reasons basically. After that there was another traveler, or I would rather say navigator. उसका नाम था Henry, King Henry. Now he was basically not a king but a prince. Prince Henry, he was from Portugal in the 15th century. He encouraged people to go on expeditions and search for new lands which were not known till now to the European continent or to the kings of the European continent. कि भाई तुम लोग, हम लोगों को भी टेरिटोरियल एक्सपैंड करना है, हम लोगों को टेरिटोरियल एक्सपेंशन चाहिए, हम लोगों को रॉ मटेरियल्स चाहिए, तो हम लोग किधर जाएंगे? सो यू navigators will go, we will trade together, and that is why these expeditions resulted into discovery of Madeira and Azores, two archipelagos near Africa. Now archipelagos का मतलब होता है a group of islands. These were discovered, or they were found by different navigators and during the expedition. These two are autonomous regions of Portugal, the Portugal began to transport African people to Portugal and sell them as slaves, and there started the trade of slaves, which was later on banned. But yes, the trade of slaves continued after that for many years. African gold was also brought back by to Portugal by these people. Next person is Bartholomew Dias. Now Bartholomew Dias began his expedition on orders of King of Portugal. Portugal का king का नाम था वो टाइम पे John II. Now he reached the southern tip of Africa, which he named as Cape of Storms. Later, the name was changed to Cape of Good Hope. It is still known as Cape of Good Hope. He was the first seafarer to circumnavigate the African continent. He was Bartholomew Dias. And the next navigator, I would say the explorer, the next person जिसके बारे में तुम लोगों ने सुना है, his name is Christopher Columbus. In the year 1453 AD, Constantinople was captured by Ottoman Turks. Now, Constantinople, which is present day Istanbul, was captured by Ottoman Turks. The capital city of East Roman Empire, Byzantine Empire, was conquered by Ottoman army. The Turkish army, the local army, Turkish army at that time, they were known as Ottoman Turks. मतलब वो एक Turkish tribe था. Thereafter, it became the capital of the Ottoman Empire. Now, the eastern sea route was closed for the Europeans. It had become necessary for them to search for an alternative. So, they started finding a new alternative route. कि भाई land route तो अभी बंद हो गया, तो अभी क्या करना है? तो now we will be finding a new route, that will be sea route. So, with the support of the King Ferdinand and Queen Christopher Columbus, Queen Isabella of Spain, Christopher Columbus, an Italian explorer, set sail in search of India. Now basically वो India ढूंढने निकला था, but वो पहुंचा कोई और जगह पे. Now he was certain that by sailing westward he would find India, as the earth is round. Instead of reaching India, he reached to the islands near America, and जब भी वो पहुंचा तो उसने नाम दे दिया India, but it was actually not India. After him, there was another sailor who excavated or discovered this particular area, that is again the same area, and usne bola, his name was Amerigo Vespucci. He said that Amerigo Vespucci again he was an Italian explorer. He is supposed to have gone on an expedition on the orders of King of Spain, but the land he found was named as Venezuela. In his third expedition, by following the course of river, he could discover the delta region of Amazon, and it is believed that later on Amerigo Vespucci discovered the central part of America, and after that the name was given, that is America. So after Amerigo Vespucci, it is believed that America was named after Amerigo Vespucci.